What's up, guys? Welcome back. My name is Dan Kathman. Thanks so much for joining me. I want to talk about this, the war of art. It is so good. I just finished it this morning. It's got so many quotes. I'll read you a few. I already read some, but I'll read you some more real quick. So, the war of art. Self-doubt can be an ally. Like every page, I don't know if you can see this, but like every page, I'm like highlighting stuff. So every page is like, it is write down worthy type of insights. Especially the book one and book two. I mean, well, he says book one, but part one, part two is fantastic. So it's self-doubt serves you. It serves as an indicator of aspiration. It reflects love of something you dream of doing and the desire to do it. So you have self-doubt. I mean, that might be an indicator of something that you really want to do. Follow where you pay attention to what you resist, I guess. I already read that one. I read that one too. Oh, fear doesn't go away, which is true. The warrior and the artist live by the same code of necessity, which dictates that the battle must be fought anew every day. Trouble is a fox form of fame. So trouble can be anything from, having illness to having alcoholism to having drug addictions to having, troubles in our lives that it's actually pretty interesting to see. And and a lot of them is based on a form of, you're resisting whatever your calling or whatever you're supposed to do is. It's a nice theory. It's a good theory because you're having these issues and you're doing these things and you want to achieve something, but your way of doing it is to, chronic lateness, basically causing trouble for yourself. Self-sabotage is a fox form of fame. Trouble is a fox form of fame. So you get notoriety and stuff in some way. You have a problem, so people notice you and pay attention and have, console you and stuff like that. So, but you might be just kind of, I know this is kind of heavy stuff, but you might be, resisting whatever it is that your calling is, whatever you're supposed to do. I mean, it could be many things. Resistance by definition is self-sabotage. So if you think you self-sabotage a lot, like I do and have, I won't do it anymore. I'm working to not do it anymore. Then that is resistance. Resistance recruits allies. So in case you haven't noticed, resistance is the main problem with creating. You always feel resistance. You feel like you can't. You feel like, what will people think? You fear failure. All this resistance that you feel, you feel like you can't do it. You don't know enough. You're scared. All these excuses, when you say excuses, they're resistance to whatever it is that your heart's desire really probably is and what you're supposed to be doing. And you got to combat that, all the time. Resistance recruits allies. So sabotage by others. If you haven't noticed, I'll read you this real quick. When you start to do the work, you may find people close to you start acting strange. They may become moody or sullen. Does this sound familiar? They may get sick. They may accuse you of changing and not being the person you were. The closer they are to you, the more bizarrely they will act and the more emotion they put behind their action. They are trying to sabotage you. The reason is that they are struggling, consciously or unconsciously, against their own resistance. And that, my friends, is probably one of the biggest takeaways. I was like, yeah, I know that one for sure. Because when you start to persist past your resistance, when you start to actually do the thing, you start to get hate from people close to you. That's a common thing. People start close to you, start trying to put you down and make you stop, whatever reason, just one day at a time. That's all it takes, one day at a time. This one was, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but doctors estimate that 70 to 80% of their business is non-health related. 70 to 80. People aren't sick. They are self-dramatizing. They think they are. I did that before. Hypochondriac like a mofo. You think you got something. And essentially it's, victimhood becomes a work of art itself. And you're living in anyway, I won't get into that one too much, but basically talking about self-mastery is what it is. All this stuff. Okay, I'll read three more real quick. If you find yourself criticizing other people, haters, you're probably doing it out of resistance. When we see others beginning to live their authentic selves, it drives us crazy if we have not lived out on our own. if we have not lived out our own. Individuals who are realized in their own lives almost never criticize others. So people who are doing their own thing, who are on the right path, the winners, the people that are, achieving or at least trying to on the right mindset, they're not going to criticize you. If they speak at all, it is often to encourage you, or like I like to call, help you, So watch yourself. If you're criticizing people and hating, that's so true though. I mean, honestly, that's how you get over people who hate you a little bit, is because people who kind of spit that poison and talk badly about you and say things, and whether they're trying to be funny or not, they say mean and hurtful things. They get a lot going on with themselves. It has more to do with them than it does you, and that's just true. I mean, because anyone who's good, anyone who's like solid with their life and what they're doing, they're not gonna say anything. Like I said, I'm not gonna talk badly about a movie, because I know what it's like to make one, to be a part of one. Not only as a producer, as a writer, as an actor. I've done all types of independent films. I've been a part of them, and even making videos, making art itself. I get it. And photography and books, I've done all that stuff, and I understand what it's like to fail at something when you not get the results that you want. And I'm not going to rub anybody's nose in it, because it sucks. It hurts for them, just the fact, without people saying anything, seeing the result and be like, oh God. And it sucks. And so you're not going to hear that from me, but don't do it. And again, if you are, just realize that you're probably projecting onto them. And if you're getting haters, realize that that's a lot of them projecting their life. They got a, shitty life. A lot of people have shitty lives. They have stuff going on. It's not great. It's not great. Things aren't great. Yeah, obviously. So that sucks, and I feel sorry. Honestly, I feel sorry for people. I feel upset. Like I feel for them. I don't feel sorry for them like in a bad way. I feel for them because like people who really act out like that, especially online, and say things, they got a lot going on and they're not doing very well, and they're sad or they're upset or they're angry, consciously or unconsciously. So if you're getting hate, take that with you and just realize that it's more to do, almost everything to do with them and hardly anything to do with you, because they don't even know you. Even if they did know you, and that's the thing I said before, even if they felt like they know you, I mean, your mom probably or dad probably feels like that they know you better than anybody, and I'm sure you've heard your friends say, "I know you better than anybody," or somebody say that to you before. I'm sure you've heard your mom or dad or someone close to you say that, "I think I know you better than you know yourself." And maybe that is true, because people, self-awareness is a serious strength, and you should work on it tremendously and continually to try to understand yourself more. But no one gets you like you do. They may think that they do, but they don't really know you, because they're not you. So they can only empathize. They don't really ever know. The danger is greatest when the finish line is in sight. That's true. Resistance knows we're about to beat it. It hits the panic button. It marshals one last assault and slams us with everything it's got. So just, be careful and be aware. And see, that's the thing. If you're aware of this, that it's resistance, that your hypochondria is resistance. You're resisting something, and it's forming in different ways. The people around you who are hating on you is resistance. You're good, so it's going to get you from other places, and it's resistance trying to keep you down. And the cool thing is, though, is if you're doing something great, like I think you gave an example, like if you're working, resistance only works when you go from low to high. So don't worry, like I think give an example of like if you're working at the Mother Teresa Foundation, and you're worried that one day you're just gonna like go into telemarketing, relax, because resistance isn't gonna do that, because that's from going high to low. You're not gonna get much resistance, and that's the thing. When you have little resistance to something going in the right direction, which is something interesting to think about. Master the fear and conquer resistance. It's fear. And one thing that said really, really well in here was it's a whole lot of things that we think we fear, and what we actually fear is fear of success. And he gives a lot of reasons why. I'm going to try to find that and read that to you, and that'll be end of this real quick. But it's a really good book. I highly recommend getting it. Here it is. I'm going to mark that. I highly recommend getting this book, The War of Art. It is short, easy read, short chapters. I like short chapters, and literally only like 160 pages. Okay, this one is really good. So tons of fears. I told you already. Fear of being selfish, fear of poverty, fear of consequences of following your heart, fear of failure, fear of being ridiculous, fear of passing the point of no return. All these fears, but they're not the real fear, what he says. And not the master fear, the mother of all fears that's close to us, that even when we verbalize it, we don't even believe it. Fear that we will succeed. You've heard that one before, right? But listen more. Fear that we will succeed, that we can access the powers we secretly know we possess, that we can become the person we sense in our hearts we truly are. This is the most terrifying prospect to a human being. This is the most terrifying prospect a human being can face because it ejects him at one go. He imagines from all the tribal inclusions his psyche is wired for and has been for 50 million years. We fear discovering that we are more than we think we are, more than our parents, our children, teachers think we are. We fear that we actually possess the talent that we fear that we actually possess the talent that our still small voice tells us, that we actually have the guts, perseverance, the capacity. We fear that we truly can steer our ship, plant our flag, reach our promised land. We fear this because if it's true, if we can actually do this, then we become estranged from all that we know. We pass through the membrane, we become monsters and monstrous. We know that if we embrace our ideals, we must prove worthy of them. And that scares the hell out of us. What will become of us? Will we lose our friends and family who will no longer recognize us? Will we wind up alone in the cold void of starry space with nothing and no one to hold on to? Of course, that's exactly what happened. But here's the trick. We wind up in a space, but not alone. Instead, we are tapped into unquenchable okay, I'm gonna skip that sentence. But we wind up in a space, but we're not alone. Yeah, we lose friends, but we find friends too, in places we never thought to look. And they're better friends, truer friends. And we're better and truer to them. And we're better and truer to them. The authentic self. Resist your resistance. Combat it. This is just filled with stuff. I highly recommend you do yourself a favor. And if you're ever interested in anything, starting a business, trying to pursue any art, start a YouTube channel, start to, lose weight. I mean, literally anything. And here's one last thing on resistance. If it meant nothing to us, there'd be no resistance. Pick up this book, The War of Art. I highly recommend it. It's so good. This is such a good read. And I got a few more books that are on my reading list. If you want to know, I got a bunch recently. I think I talked about them already, but probably not sure which one I'm going to start on next. Maybe this one, Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday. Anything Ryan Holiday gets or does, I recommend. There's another one here that's really good. This one kind of says the opposite. Talent is overrated. I read that one. I can't decide. So good they can ignore you. Everybody writes. I got a comedy one over there. Oh, I'll get that one. Okay, so these I'm almost done with. I skimmed this one. This is the first comedy books that I've ever got. This one is Funny on Purpose, The Definitive Guide to an Unpredictable Career in Comedy. So stand-up, improv, sketch, TV, writing, directing, and YouTube. I'm skimming this one. This one's, got some good insights, some good thoughts and stuff. This one's pretty good too. Again, I haven't bought a lot of books on comedy or anything like that, but I thought that I would. How to Write Funny. This is by a guy who was a teacher at the popular Second City, which is the popular and notorious improv school in Chicago. Gave birth to all the SNL cast, pretty much. This one was pretty good, and this one, a little more spiritual book if you're interested. Joel Osteen, anything he writes is good. This is his most recent book, Favor. Very good. Every time I read him, I kind of feel uplifted and feel, kind of more centered and optimistic and kind of getting right with myself and God. And I am religious, but I don't, and I believe in God, but I'm not gonna, I am religious and I do believe in God, and this does help. Joel Osteen's probably one of the best, I think, especially in writing and stuff, and it's just one of my favorites. And again, I highlight stuff, and it's really good, and especially if you're going through something, it's very helpful. I recommend him, any of his books. So thank you guys so much for watching. I know this has been a little bit longer video, but I kind of want to tell you a little bit about what this channel is going to do moving forward. It's going to be a real bitch to edit. Maybe I'll just make this another podcast. I don't know. No, probably not. But yeah, everything's going to be on my one page, entertainment and education and reviews and different things, everything in between. So I hope you enjoy it. Hopefully this will enable me to make videos every day and post them every day, even with my business and stuff like that going on. But this is what makes me really happy. This is what I really enjoy, even though I've been talking now for 45 minutes. Oh my gosh. Okay. That's enough. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Hope you guys have a great weekend, and hope everyone's doing okay with all this stuff going on, pandemic and everything. Coronavirus, hopefully everyone's feeling well and doing well and gets better. I love you. I wish you well, and come back and see me. All right, bye. Oh, subscribe to my channel. I have like 91 followers. I have like 91 subscribers. Get me to 100. All right, bye.